Assalamualaikum to Miss and my friends. My name is AHMAD bin Muhammad ZAINI. My address number is D20112579. Cooperation between international firms can take many forms, such as cross-licensing or proprietary technology, sharing of production facilities, co-funding of research projects, and marketing of each other's products using existing distribution networks. Such forms of cooperation are known collectively as strategic alliances, business arrangements whereby two or more firms choose to cooperate for their mutual benefit. The partners in a strategy alliance may agree to pool R&D activities, marketing expertise, or managerial talent. For example, in the early 1990s, Kodak and Fuji, two fierce competitors in the film market, formed a strategic alliance with camera manufacturers Canon, Minolta, and Nikon to develop a new standard for cameras and film, the advanced photo system, to make picture taking easier and more goof-proof. Next, a joint venture (JV) is a special type of strategy alliance in which two or more firms join together to create a new business entity that is legally separate and distinct from its parent. JVs are normally established as corporations and are owned by the founding parents in whatever proportions they negotiate. Although unequal ownership is common, many are owned equally by the founding firms. Serial partners worldwide represents this type of alliance. A strategy alliance is only one method by which a firm can enter or expand its international operations. As Chapter 12 discussed, other alternatives exist, which is exporting, licensing, franchising, and foreign direct investment (FDI). In each of these alternatives, however, a firm acts alone or hires a second individual or firm, often one further down the distribution chain, to act on its behalf. In contrast, a strategy alliance results from cooperation among two or more firms. Each participant in a strategy alliance is motivated to promote its own self-interest, but has determined that cooperation is the best way to achieve its goals. Some means is required for managing any cooperative agreement. A JV as a separate legal entity must have its own set of managers and board of directors. It may be managed in any of three ways. First, the founding firms may jointly share management, with each appointing key personnel who report back to officers of the parent. And second, one parent may assume primary responsibility. And third, an independent team of managers may be hired to run it. The third approach is often preferred because independent managers focus on what is best for the JV rather than attempting to placate bosses from the founding firms. Other types of strategy alliances may be managed more informally, for example, by a coordinating committee composed of employees of each of the partners, which oversees the alliance progress. Next, a formal management organization allows a JV to be broader in purpose, scope or range of operations, and duration than other types of strategy alliances. A non-JV strategy alliance may be formed merely to allow the partners to overcome a particular hurdle that each faces in the short run. A JV will be more helpful if the two firms plan a more extensive and long-term relationship. A typical non-JV strategy alliance has a narrow purpose and scope, such as marketing a new smartphone in Canada. A JV might be formed if firms wanted to be cooperate in the design, production, and sale of a broad line of telecommunications equipment in North America. Non-JV strategy alliances are often formed for a specific purpose that may have a natural ending. For example, the agreement among the camera manufacturers Canon, Minolta, and Nikon and the film manufacturers Fuji and Kodak to jointly create the advanced photo system for cameras and film terminated in 1996 after the new standards were developed. Each participant then marketed the resulting products on its own. Kodak called its new film Advantix, Minolta labeled its new cameras Vectis, and Nikon chose to name Nuvis 4. But because JVs are separate legal entities, they generally have a longer duration. A venture such as CPW has an indefinite time horizon in that it will continue to function so long as its two owners are satisfied with its performance. Because of the narrow mission and lack of formal organizational structure, non-JV strategy alliances are relatively less stable than JVs. For example, in 1988, United Airlines and British Airways entered into an agreement to form a strategic marketing alliance involving their North American and European routes. At the time, United was offering limited service to Europe and was losing market share to Arrivals, Delta, and American Airlines, both of which offered more extensive service there. To solve its problem, United agreed to coordinate its flight schedules with British Airways, thereby making it more convenient for Europe-bound US travelers to board a domestic United flight and then transfer it to a transatlantic British Airways flight. United and British Airways both prominently described the arrangement in their marketing campaigns and in the visit of their marketing reps to US and European travel agencies within a year. However, Pan Am's routes to London were placed on the auction block. United quickly purchased those routes from Pan Am and severed relations with its strategic ally. British Airways was of little use to United once United could operate in London on its own. Needing a transatlantic partner, British Airways then entered into a similar strategic alliance with US Air in 1993. 3 years later, American Airlines and British Airways agreed to form a separate strategic alliance. US Air, believing that it would be the weakest partner in a three-way alliance, promptly sued British Airways and terminated their alliance. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is NURAQILAH IWANI binti Ibrahim. My matric number is D20112536, and I will explain a little on the topic of benefits of strategic alliances. Strategic alliances allow partners to scale quickly, build innovative solutions for their customers, enter new market, and pool valuable expertise and resources. Firms that enter into strategic alliances usually expect to benefit in one or more ways. As summarized, international business may realize 4 benefits from strategic alliances, which is ease of market entry, shared risk, shared knowledge and expertise, and the last one is synergy and competitive advantage. The first one is ease of market entry. Firms wishing to enter a new market often faces major obstacles such as entrenched competition or hostile government regulations. Easy of entry refers to the level of difficulty a company has to enter into an industry or market. It is important because it affects the intensity of competition and profitability in the market. When new entrants enter, they bring in new capacity, increase supply, and lower market prices. As a result, market profitability decreases. Yet the cost of speed and courage are often high and beyond the capabilities of one company, and strategic alliances may allow companies to achieve the benefit of quick entry while reducing cost. The market structure includes perfect competition and imperfect competition such as monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. Each of them has different ease of entry characteristic. Also, the company products are homogeneous. They act as the perfect substitute. It makes customers have no reason to be more loyal to one product over other products. For this reason, it is easier for newcomers to attract new customers when entering. Under a monopoly market, the market consists of a single producer. Barriers to entry are high for either structural or regulatory reasons. Monopoly markets such as the power industry have significant capital requirement. Companies spend ample money on expensive capital goods. Next one is shared risk. Shared risk includes risks that extend across entities and potentially the community, industry, international partner, and other jurisdictions. In large, complex entities, shared risk can exist within the entity as well as between them. Unlike simpler risks, no one entity may be able to manage the risk on their own, although they will differ in scale and nature. Shared risks have a number of distinguishing characteristics. Shared risks can have complex causes and can be influenced by the action or inaction of a range of participants different ways. Should a shared risk be realized, they can affect different organizations in different ways and can have complex and widespread impact. The growing use of collaborative approach by governments such as through shared service, public-private partnership, and inter-agency task forces means that shared risk is becoming more prevalent. Next, shared knowledge and expertise. Still, another common reason for strategic alliances is the potential for the firms to gain knowledge and expertise that is lacks. A firms may want to learn more about how to produce something, how to acquire certain resources, how to deal with local government regulations, or how to manage in a different environment, information that a partner often can offer. By encourage some form of knowledge sharing, it can also increase employee engagement, like provide employees with multiple ways to share their knowledge. This way, each employee is empowered to select the method they find fits their personality and skills best. Next, host regular retrospective meeting where staff can raise what went well, issues and potential improvement. Implement an intelligence platform that can provide access to real-time knowledge and expertise. Change up the scenery, try implementing off-site events and meetings where a new scene can inspire colleagues. Last one is synergy and competitive advantage. Synergy is a concept fraught with ambiguity about its source and effect, perhaps as a consequence of previous literature on the subject, not distinguishing between these. The source of synergy are separate from the source of suitable competitive advantage in order to analyze the competitive implication of different types of synergy, and thus be able to answer the question of when and under which circumstance synergy can be expected to generate sustainable competitive advantage. Firms may also enter into strategic alliances to attain synergy and competitive advantage. This related advantage reflect combination of the other advantage discussed in this section. Creating a favorable brand image in consumers' mind is an expensive, time-consuming process, as is creating efficient distribution network and obtaining the necessary clout with retailers to capture shelf space for one's products. Competitive advantage refers to factors that allow a company to produce goods or service better or more cheaply than its rival. This factor allow a productive entity to generate more sales or superior making compared to its market rivals.
Assalamualaikum, my name is NURUL IMANINA and my metric card number is D20112636. I'm going to explain about the topic of scope strategic alliances. As shown in the figure, the scope of company cooperation might vary greatly. It could, for example, be a full alliance in which the partners are involved in all aspects of business, from product design to manufacturing to marketing. It could also be a more tightly defined alliance that focuses only on one aspect of the business, such as research and development. The extent to which each partner collaborates will be determined by their basic objective. The scope of strategic alliances is divided into two, which is comprehensive alliances and functional alliances. Then, for the functional alliances, it has four parts, which is known as production alliances, marketing alliances, financial alliances, and research and development. So we go through to the comprehensive alliances. Comprehensive alliances arise when the participating firms agree to perform together multiple stages of the process by which goods or services are brought to the market, which is R&D, design, production, marketing, and distributors. Because of the broad scope of such alliances, the firms must establish procedures for meshing such functional areas as finance, production, and marketing for the alliance to succeed. Yet, integrating the different operating procedures of the parents over a broad range of functional activities is difficult in the absence of a formal organizational structure. As a result, most comprehensive alliances are organized as joint ventures. As an independent entity, the joint ventures can adopt operating procedures that suit its specific needs, rather than attempting to accommodation that often incompatible procedure of the parents, as might be the case with another type of strategic alliances. Furthermore, participating firms in a complete alliance can generate greater synergy through sheer size and overall resources by fully integrating their operations. Next, strategic alliances can also be narrow or limited in scope, comprising simply and particular corporate function. In such circumstances, integrating the parent company's needs is less difficult. As a result, functionally based alliances are less likely to take the shape of the joint ventures, despite the fact that joint ventures are still the most common organizational structure. A functional alliance integrates certain basic functions between the two parties by pooling efforts to attain specific objectives. Production alliances, marketing alliances, finance alliances, and R&D alliances are examples of functional alliances. So the first one is production alliances. A production alliance is a functional alliance in which two or more firms each manufacture products or provide services in a shared or common facility. A production alliance may use a facility one partner already owns. For example, as previously mentioned, the NUMMI joint venture between Toyota and GM is housed in a former GM assembly factory in California that was shut down by the corporation. Alternatively, as in the instance of a new $3.5 billion joint venture between Sony and Sharp to manufacture liquid crystal display panels for high-definition television in Western Japan, the partners may choose to construct a new strategy. Then, marketing alliances. A marketing alliances is a functional alliances in which two or more firms share marketing services or expertise. In most cases, one partner introduces its product or services into a market in which the other partner already has a presence. The established firm helps the newcomer by promoting, advertising, and distributing its products or services. The established firm may agree to a fixed fee or a portion of the newcomer's sales or earnings in exchange for its existence. Alternatively, the companies could agree to market each other's product in exchange. For example, Mattel and Bandai, a Japanese toy maker, formed a strategic marketing alliance to promote their common interests. Mattel committed to market Bandai's Power Rangers and Digimon in Latin America, where Mattel's distribution network is strong, but Bandai is non-existing. While Bandai agreed to distribute Mattel products such as Barbie dolls, Hot Wheels, and Fisher-Price toys in Japan. Thirdly, a financial alliance is a functional alliance of firms that want to reduce the financial risks associated with a project. Partners may share equally in contributing financial resources to the project, or one partner may contribute the bulk of the financings while the other partner provides special expertise or makes other kinds of contributions to partially offset its lack of financial investment. The strategic alliance between Boeing and its three Japanese partners was created primarily for financial purposes. Boeing wanted the other companies to assist cover research and development and manufacturing costs. Those companies in turn saw an opportunity to gain significant experience as well as profit in the commercial aircraft manufacturing industry. Similarly, Titanic, one of the most profitable films in history, was made possible through a financial partnership between 21st Century Fox and Paramount Pictures. Lastly, research and development, which is R&D. Rapid technological development in high-tech industries combined with the rising expense of keeping up with that change has resulted in a surge in R&D focused functional partnerships. The participants and R&D partnerships agree to conduct joint research to produce new products or services. An R&D partnership formed in 2000 by Intel, Micron Technology, Samsung, Hyundai, NEC and Siemens to develop the next generation of DRAM chips is an example of typical R&D alliance. Similarly, Bayer AG created R&D partnerships with smaller biotech firms like Millennium Pharmaceutical and MorphoSys to bolster their collaborative search for new miracle drugs.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ADILLA binti ROSDI. My matric number is T20112514 and today I will be explaining about the implementation of strategic alliance. Okay, first I will share what is the meaning of strategic alliance. Strategic alliance is an agreement between two or more organizations to cooperate in a specific business activity so that each benefit from the strength of the other and gains competitive advantage. The formation of strategic alliance has been seen as the response to globalization and increasing uncertainty and complexity in the business environment. Next, strategic alliance involves the sharing of knowledge and expertise between partners as well as the reduction of risks and costs in areas such as relationships with suppliers and the development of new products and technologies. A company may enter into a strategic alliance to expand into a new market, improve its product line, or develop an edge over a competitor. The arrangement allows two businesses to work together towards a common goal that will benefit both. The relationship may be short or long-term, and the agreement may be formal or informal. Okay, next is identify the right partners for the right goals. Before anything, it is important to know your organization's goals and how they pertain to your prospective partnerships. Like hiring for your own team, searching for the right partners involves some careful vetting. Choose partners that you easily collaborate and develop positive connection with and who can actively introduce you to new customers. A firm contemplating a strategic alliance should consider at least 4 factors in selecting our partners. The first one is compatibility. The second one is the nature of the potential partner's products or services. The third one is the relative safeness of the alliance. And the last one is the learning potential of the alliance. Okay, the first one is compatibility. Okay, these first factors is important to inform the firm that they should select a compatible partner that it can trust and with whom it can work effectively. Without mutual trust, a strategic alliance is unlikely to succeed. But incompatibilities in corporate operating philosophies may also doom an alliance. Another factor to consider is the nature of a potential partner's products or services. It is often hard to cooperate with a firm in one market while doing better with the same firm in a second market. Under such circumstances, each partner may be unwilling to reveal all of its expertise to the other partners for fear that the partner will use that knowledge against the firm in another market. So, it is important to know your partner's nature of potential products and services to avoid this kind of problems. Okay, the third factor is the relative safeness of the alliance. Given the complexities and potential costs of failed agreements, managers should gather as much information as possible about a potential partner before entering into a strategic alliance. For example, managers should assess the success or failure of previous strategic alliance formed by the potential partner, and also it often makes sense to analyze the prospective deal from the other firm's side. The last factor is the learning potential of the alliance. Before establishing a strategic alliance, partners should also assess the potential to learn from each other. Areas of learning can range from the specific, for example, how to manage inventory more efficiently, or how to train employees more effectively, or how to modify corporate culture, or how to manage more strategically. At the same time, however, each partner should carefully assess the value of its own information and not provide the other partners with any information that will result in competitive disadvantage for itself. Further issues and questions are associated with how a strategic alliance will be managed. There are three standard approaches are often used to jointly manage a strategic alliance. The first one is shared management agreements, next is assigned arrangements, and the last one is delegated arrangements. The first one is shared management agreement. Under this approach, each partner fully and actively participates in managing the alliance. The partners run the alliance and their managers regularly pass on instructions and details to the alliance managers. Next, the alliance managers have limited authority of their own and must defer most decisions to the managers from the partners' firm. And this type of agreement requires a high level of coordination and near-perfect agreement between the participating partners. The second one is assigned arrangement. Assigned arrangement is when one partner assumes primarily responsibility for the operation of the strategic alliance. Under an assigned arrangement, management of the alliance is greatly simplified because the dominant partner has the power to set its own agenda for the new unit, break ties among decision makers, and even overrule its partners. Okay, the last one is delegated arrangement. Under a delegated arrangement, which is reserved for the JVs, the partners agree not to get involved in ongoing operation and so delegate management control the executive of the joint venture itself. This executive may be specifically hired to run the new operation or may be transferred from the participating firm. They are responsible for the day-to-day decision-making and management of the venture and for implementing its strategy. Thus, they have the real power and the autonomy to make significant decisions themselves and are much less accountable to managers in the partners' firms. And that's all for me. Thank you.
So, for my part, I will explain about the pitfall of the strategic alliance. In the first slide, regardless of the care and the deliberation a firm that puts into the constructing a strategic alliance, it still must be considered limitation and pitfall. Summarize 5 fundamental that source of the problem that often threaten the viability of the strategic alliance. Incompatibility of the partners that access to the information, conflict over the distributing earning, that loss of autonomy and changing the circumstance. Next is about the incompatibility of the partners. Incompatibility among the partners of a strategic alliance is a primary cause of the failure that such the arrangement. At times, incompatibility can lead to the outright conflict, although the typical that it merely leads to poor performance of the alliance. We noted that previously in the chapter, the example of the conflict between the Siemens and the engineering-oriented management and the General Electrical corporations that financially oriented management. Incompatibility can stem from difference in corporate culture, national culture, goals and objective, or virtually any others fundamental in the dimension that linking the two partners. In many cases, that compatibility problems can be anticipated if the partner carefully discuss and analyze the reasons why each other entering into the alliance that in the first place. A useful starting point may be a meeting between the top manager of the two partners to discuss their mutual interest and the goals. In my second slide, firstly is about the limited access. Limited access to the information is another drawback of many strategic alliance. For the collaboration to work efficiently, one partner or both may have to provide the other information that it would prefer to keep the secret. It is often difficult to identify such needs ahead of time. Thus, a firm may enter into the agreement that not anticipating having to share certain information. When the reality of the situation become apparent, the firm may have to be the forthcoming with the information or else compromise the effectiveness of the collaboration. For the example, such as the UNICE, a US computer firm, negotiated with the JV Hitachi, a Japanese electronic firm. Only after the venture was well underway did UNICE realize that it would have to provide the Hitachi with the most of technical specification it used to build the computer. For the second point, it have the limited strategy alliance and financial consideration. Firstly, for the limited of strategy alliance, they are related to the distribution of earning. Because the partners share risk and costs, they also share profits and costs. This aspect collaborative arrangement that is known ahead of time and virtually always negotiate as a part of the original agreement. Next, we will get through to the financial consideration. However, there are other financial consideration beyond the basic distribution of the earning that can cause the disagreement. The partners must also agree on the proportion of the joint earning that will be distributed to themselves as opposed to being reinvested in the business. That accounting procedure that will be used to calculate the earning or the profit and the way transfer pricing will be handled. And for my last slide, which is the third slide, we go to the next point. Now I will explain about the loss of autonomy. Firstly, strategic alliance is the potential loss of autonomy. This is just as firms share risk and the profit, they also share the control, thereby limiting what each can do. Most of the attempts to introduce new product or service change the way of the alliance does to the business, or introduce any other significant that organizational change first must be discussed and negotiated. Then I will tell you guys the story that overcome the problem. FedEx chose to buy out its Chinese JV partner, which is Tianji Daitian W Group, for 400 million. The purchase of freed FedEx to better integrated the JV's 90 parcel processing the facilities, and it is 3,000 workers into the FedEx global distribution network. 41 conversely, as a part of its contract with the General Mills, Nestle had to agree that if the JV is ever terminated, Nestle cannot enter the North America cereal market for at least 10 years. Lastly, is about the partners that accusing the employees. In this case, partners may accuse each other opportunistic behavior that is trying to take unfair advantage of each other. For the example, a JV between a Walt Disney Company and the Sky Television, a British pay TV channel operator that broke down the Sky, accused Disney of deliberately delaying the supply of the promised programming. Disney in turn to accuse the Sky of proceeding too hastily and without the consulting it. The next point is about the viability of the strategic employees in the changing circumstance. The economic for the condition that motivated the cooperative arrangement may no longer exist, or the technological advance may have rendered the agreement obsolete. For example, in late 2011, Samsung has bought the outstanding interest in a 7 years old of JV to produce the LCD screens for high definition TV. Although the venture was profitable for several years, that in the industry overproduction that led to operating the loss in the 2010s. And 44 similarly, that same year Johnson Control sued the dissolve it is JV with the French battery manufacturer Soft Group, which is SA, to fabricate the lithium-ion battery for the automobile industry. The company of US claimed that rapid technology change and the investment needed to maintain the market leadership of rendered that JV ineffective. It is friends, partners disagree. Before I end this, I will sum about this topic. Strategic alliance in which two or more firms agree to cooperate for their mutual benefit are becoming increasingly in an international business. A joint venture, which is JV, that we call JV, a common type of strategic alliance, involve the two or more firms joining together to create a new entity that is legally separate and distinct from its parents. Strategic alliance offers several benefits to firms that using them. First, they are facilitated market entry. Second, they allow the partners to share risk. The third one is to make it easier for each other partner to gain new knowledge and expertise from the other partners. Finally, they foster synergy and competitive advantage among the partners. Thank you. That's all from me.